drama. Yeah, I thought so.
Yo, we gotta get G'd up fast.
There's no time to explain, dog. Before we get shot. Yeah, what's up, family? Out here doing my thing. Why, what's up? Man, stop playing. Spend half my day in traffic on the weekend.
Los Santos. The quiet city, they call it. Well, it's not so quiet these days. You hear a lot of sound. And that sound is crime. It's everywhere. Everywhere you look. Crime. Left, right, and center. Oh, I just trod on something. What's that? Oh, it's some crime. And I'm here to clean up this dirty city. It ain't so quiet no more, like I said. And the only way I think I can make it quiet again is by making some noise myself. Like a mallet to a bag of kittens. You gotta make a big noise before the peace comes. My name's Daisy. Trick Daisy. And I've just joined the police department. Hopefully we'll be able to solve some crimes and make this a mixed up crazy world a better place to live in, see? The streets, well, they're about to learn my name. So let's see what adventures we get up to today. I'm here. I'm Dick Tracy. I'm Trick Daisy. Gets me every time. We're in Quiet City. Quiet City. quite shitty. Quiet shitty. It's quite shitty. My camera's quite low, isn't it? There's only about 5 people on here. So hopefully we actually bump into someone. So yeah, we got a new RP server, everyone. Quiet City, you might have seen it. Is everyone having a nice? I haven't really publicized this that much. There's something running down Paul Tuck's leg. And that thing is crime and piss. Crime and piss running down his leg. I'm losing the voice already. I keep slipping into Al. I've got to be more like trying to do like more of a James Stewart kind of thing. But I gotta go a bit Sean Connery at times too. Need to get that she in there every now and then too. Ha, she. But hello, Paul. How are you?
Animal's gone ape shit.
Hope you're well. I don't know if there's that many people on, so this could be a terrible time to do it. From the Untouchables, you go just that kind of general kind of thing. She. Ha. You're all mixed up, you see. All this flim-flam on the streets. I need to set up a hotkey for my non-camera thing, and I haven't done it. Silly me. For more in-character moments. It's not something I should just do now. Just sort that out whilst I'm here. It's something I'm going to do now. Bit of admin fun. A wee! Hotkeys. A woo! I'll give you a shout out in a moment, Paul, once I've sorted this. What did I call these things? Specific black and white fun ones. This is fun to watch, right? Aha! Here we go. Okay. Let's make it. No, I'm gonna. Yeah. I think that's okay. And where's my black and white one? Oh, they're in alphabetical order. Nice. Okay. Supply that. That's fun. And then shout out for Paul. Doing great things on Rust. Doing great things on GTA. On Quiet City. I've forgotten your character's name. I've only been on for like an hour. So I'm really losing track of who everyone is already. Lots has happened. Danny did not, of course. The donkey's back. The donkey's back. That's a fun sentence. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to disappear into character again. LSPD, the home of the finest here in the Quiet City. My captain. Name's Tenpenny. Don't know too much about him yet. Seems a good sort, but you never know in a place like this. Hopefully I'll be making a new partner. Number 69. Learn it, everyone. This is the number of our police department here. Get to know it. If you're thinking about committing any crime, well, I'll see you on the other side. Really paranoid about closing these doors. You gotta keep your doors locked in this city. Because you never know who's gonna come on through them. Already forgotten my hotkeys. There we go. Yeah, like I said, I don't think anyone's on. There was someone, because when we're police, we're supposed to be going around in pairs. Now, there was someone on Discord who was saying, hey, Hey! That might be the way to go. Right, where are we? What was his name? Deepmore. That was it. Oh, there's loads of conversation. This is fun to watch as well. Oh, there's so much happened since I saw this. This recruit wanting thing. He's an accidental time traveler from the 1920s. That's pretty much it. Hello, Vajensky. Welcome on in. It's a pleasure to have you. Mine's not really time traveled. He's just a guy he's just a guy who he's not caught up with the modern world. He's not ready. He's not ready. He's not up with all this, all your Twitch and your Instagrams. Just old-fashioned, but not in that bad way. There's some views from the 1920s he does not keep. There's some elements from the 1920s which is not a part of his personality. He just hates crime, and he wants to clean up this dirty city, one crime at a time. What's that? There's something stuck to the bottom of my shoe. What is it? Oh, it's more crime. Oh, I just felt something in my pocket. What is it? Crime? This isn't good enough for me. Trick Lacey. This music's great, and I'm scared it's gonna get completely muted. My VOD's gonna be completely ruined, but it's worth it for this atmosphere, everyone. It's worth it. Also, if we can get a close-up of my Trick here. Don't know if it... Do you think he looks like Daniel Craig? You can't see his eye colour because we're in black and white, but I've definitely got Daniel Craig coloured eyes. So I've kind of accidentally made... If you can, when you see him in colour, it makes more sense. Do I give you a peek? Oh! Nested scenes. Forgot about that. So I already had hotkeys set up. I didn't even spend all that time. Right. Well. Doesn't look like there's anyone else here. So I might have to walk a beat by myself. Let's have a look. I don't know if you're supposed to see what our code is. Not that I can remember it myself.
Stinky's
Ah,
arrived.
Pooge! Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the follow. Hello? Anyone there? Anyone calling in? This is Trick Lacey. I'm ready to hit the beat if anyone's around. I need a partner. Said I don't know if you're supposed to see the thing, but it's right there. Pooge, I have to say, bravo for getting this all set up. Incredible. I love it already and I've barely been on it. But I'm so excited. Good. It's amazing. It's so good. And in such a short amount of time as well. Now, I've only been around this place once. I can't remember what anything is. Okay, there's a door. I'm being sure to lock everything. I don't want the mayor on my ass. Oh, this music's just taking a weird turn. This is the fun jazz. Genuine texture. Oh great, I've got a partner on the way. Sorry, I just want to check. This music's ruining my vibe. If anyone's curious, this is Thunderball. This playlist is called Crime Jazz. But I want instrumental, I don't want words. This is Minnie the Mooch, right? Ooh, hello. Right. My partner's on his way. Deepmore. Let's get into character zone. Hey, I'm waiting for my new partner, some kid by the name of Deepmore. I don't know much about him. Hope he's not too green. I've been doing this job for 1 hour, and I hope he's done it as much as I have. I bet he's a young kid. Still sees the world through nice, colorful glasses. Doesn't know the darkness that lies out there. Doesn't know that crime lies around every corner. Ooh, I opened my fridge. There's something in there I didn't notice before. What is it? It's crime. It's what it is. So I just gotta spend some time waiting for this kid to arrive. And then we're gonna hit the streets. There she is. The American flag. Once stood for something beautiful. You know what it stands for now? Crime. Oh, hello. Hey, who's that over there? Watching. Always watching. Always watching you. I saw a mysterious figure run away into the room. I wondered who it could be. I approached him cautiously. Hey there, who's this? How you doing there?
Recruit Deepmore. Are you Officer Dacey?
That's right. My pleasure to meet you, Deepmore. We're going to be hitting the streets today.
I'll just clock on and I'll be right with you.
I found it hard to read anything about this Deepmore character. Nothing about him gave me any kind of clue to what his past may be. I've always been a bit of a lone wolf, me. Working with someone else is a
Good to
totally
go.
new concept. Alright, Deep Boy, are you ready to hit the streets?
Absolutely ready to learn.
Let's clean up these dirty, filthy streets. Crime everywhere you look. Hey, you look to the left, what is there? There's some crime. You look to your right, what is there?
Oh, there's crime, sir.
There's crime, you walk along. Oh, what's that? Something's tickling my neck. What is it? It's crime.
Yep.
Right, my memory's not too great. I'm a bit of an older man, as you can see. I can't remember where the garage is.
Okay, well, I believe it's down this way.
Hello, Frolicles, how are you? There are lots of people I need to shout out.
You're
Oh,
an older
Fluffy.
gentleman. You've been a copper for long.
Oh, long time, about an hour. The other night. So, you know, a veteran. I've seen things. I've been near a man who pissed himself.
That does seem to be something of an epidemic in the city, is people just pissing and shitting themselves.
Yeah, something trickling. You can feel it rolling down your leg. What is it? It's crime.
It's crime.
Fluffy, can we get shout-outs for Pooj? Can we get a shout-out for Aztaz? Can we get a shout-out for Emily? Can we get a shout-out for Foracles? Hello, everyone. You pissed yourself? This is hard to, manage streaming and, thing. Would you like to drive?
can drive if you like, yeah.
Go for it. Aztaz, Chronicles, Pooch, which you did.
There you go. It should be. There we go.
Yeah, I was using my muscle from a different place. Oh, can we turn the radio off? Thank you very much. It's just there's some people who like to hear that silenced.
I think I know exactly what you mean.
The powers that be.
You don't want to get in any trouble for playing the wrong game. Oh
Whoa!
god!
What just happened there? Whoa! I didn't put my seatbelt on.
Oh no! What's?
Where are we?
Are you okay?
Do you know what that was? I think that was crime.
Okay, I think I got out the vehicle. We appear to be in the media room. The briefing. Oh no! Wait.
I can't get out. I seem to be a little bit stuck. Can you push the car at all? I hope it's not going to explode. Crime already knew we were coming. Seatbelt, of course. Oh! There's something really funky going on here. Whoa, it's... Ghost crime. Whoa, it's happening. Do things look as weird as they do to you as they do for me? Where are you? Where are you, Debmore? Things are looking pretty freaky for me right now. This doesn't look like the police station I know and love.
I was a bit dizzy for a second as well, but it fixed itself after a moment.
Well, I'm feeling very dizzy right now.
Okay, can you see me standing next to you, or are you too
No,
dizzy?
I can't see you. I'm gonna try and go out the main door, see if that makes a difference.
Okay.
Oh, but there's things in my way, which... Oh, this is like some kind of bizarre, invisible maze of crime.
Yeah, it's just those
Just looking
nefarious
for
criminals trying to get in the way of justice.
Ghosts. Didn't know ghosts could be criminals too. Ghosts, a
Criminal
criminal
ghosts,
crime
my
past.
God. I'm gonna go and get another car, and I'll try and meet you out front.
Be out
okay?
front. Great idea. I'll see you out there, Dick. Oh. This is... a problem. Whoa! Oh, here we go. Cool, that would have been impossible. Alright, crime, look out. Trick Daisy is about to hit the streets. That worked nicely with the music there, didn't it? So things already going well. I need to remember to take seatbelt off. You okay, Deepmore? Oh, you in there? Well, you're already out here waiting for me somewhere. Deepmore, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Deepmore? Gonna do so much pissing and shitting. Well, we'll maybe see you in here, Paul, because I know what kind of shenanigans you get up to, so I'm sure we'll end up seeing you. Deepmore! Oh, I'm out the back, I'm not out the front. Oh, there's some cars out here already. Whoa!
Yeah, hi there. You figured out?
Yeah, it's been... Oh. It was a bit of an invisible maze for a while there, and then I ended up going outside the back, not the front. I'm all belted up. So, Deepmore, where you from?
I'm actually a local, but I grew up in the Vinewood area, so I'm not terribly familiar with this side of the city.
I don't even know what this side of the city's even called.
No, maybe something we should learn.
Yes. And what attracted you to the police force, Deepmore?
I've just always wanted to help people, but so far it's really not been what I would have imagined.
It's because this city's a dirty place. It's messed up. It's a mixed up, meshed up world, Deepmore.
Knee deep in crime at all times.
Yeah. Oh. My phone's ringing. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's crime.
Why does crime have your personal number?
Because it knows I'm the one to call.
Even criminals sometimes need the help of the law.
Probably trying to beg for forgiveness. But there's one thing I can't forgive, and you know what that is, Deepmore?
I think I can guess.
It's crime.
So is there any specific areas you think we should have a look at, or just drive until something happens?
Yeah, I think just have a drive around until we come across something or we get a call. Whoa, easy. Where'd you get your license? Legoland?
What's this guy up to?
Oh, you noticed something suspicious there, Deepmore?
Yeah, the blue Subaru just next to us that's on the sidewalk.
Blast the sirens, just to let them know we mean business. There we go.
Will we get out and have a word?
Let's have a look. What's going on here?
Oh, I appear to be struggling to...
There we go. Sir, would you mind stepping out the car? Or have you been in some kind of accident by the looks of it? No? Sir, could you get out of the car, please? Oh, I'm having problems. Stupid laptop battery thing's a problem. Oh, sorry, I blanked out for a second there. Everything okay?
Is this guy talking to you? Or is he just ignoring us?
I think he's just ignoring us. Now, I don't know if he's one of the locals or one of our more known suspects. I mean, his beard looks a bit suspicious to me. Like it's just been stuck on.
Like a disguise used for crime?
No way.
I think this might be just one of the locals.
I think that might be a local by the sounds of that. Yeah, sorry, sir.
What?
I want you to move on, sir.
Damn it. Oh, shit.
Sounds a bit stressed.
What are you, blind or something?
Hey, there's no need for this ableism, sir. One of the worst crimes I can think of.
I seem to be having a difficulty.
I don't seem to be able to get in this car. Oh,
There
hang
we
on.
go, it should work now.
Seatbelts on.
Yep. So what's the worst crime you've ever seen?
Oh. Any crime. It's all
All
the
crimes
worst.
are measured equal in your eyes.
Yeah. Like I said, I just want to clean up these dirty streets, you hear?
I hear you loud and clear, 10-4.
What do you make of the Sarge? Well, the captain. What do you make of the captain?
He seems a good fellow. Got into a bit of a sticky situation yesterday with multiple officers down, but we managed to resolve it. I think he might have an issue with punk rockers.
Oh, a bunch of no good punks, you say?
Yeah.
Well, he
Anarchists,
seems
no
a good
doubt.
egg to me. Officers down is one of the risks we take for this job.
I think the EMS were overworked and understaffed, but I think they're working on a recruitment drive.
It's a beautiful city. Well, there was once upon a time ago. Not so much now. It's blighted with, well, crime.
Right, yeah. So what rank are you, sir?
Whatever it is we are when we first join. So I guess recruit? Are we recruits? I don't know.
I know that some people like myself who have no prior experience were recruited as recruits, but people who have experience in law enforcement were automatically placed at officer rank.
Well, I don't have any formal experience, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, traffic in this city.
Well, what would you describe it as?
I don't know.
It's a goddamn crime, is what it is. Don't worry, I don't know what you could have possibly missed, Fluffy.
So if I'm picking up correctly, am I right in thinking that right now you feel like you've got the eyes of a lot of people on you?
Yeah, it's like I feel I've got 6 or 7 different people just trying to impart their wisdom on me.
See, I was in a similar position for my first couple of nights, but today I've managed to shake that feeling, and I'm kind of just going solo to learn the ropes a bit better.
Yeah, so if I ever go quiet at all, that could be why. I'm just trying to
I understand.
organize my thoughts. And all those thoughts are saying, I hate crime, just in different ways of saying it, I guess.
Well, it's good that all your thoughts are pointed in the same direction.
Yeah,
I
but
had
it's like,
thoughts.
one's
I had
saying,
thoughts yesterday that
I hate
insisted I tried to.
unlawfulness, and one's like, I dislike things that are not prohibited. They're still just phrasing it in different ways.
Well, that's better than some of the thoughts I was having last night. I had a particularly intrusive thought that was trying to get me to harm the cats at the cat cafe.
Ah, I think you might need to seek some help.
I had to suppress that instinct really, really bad.
I mean, we all get that thing, like, what would happen if, we did actually say,
Yeah.
committed crime? What would that feel like?
That what if moment in the back of your head.
Oh, I'm holding this baby. What would happen if I, chucked it into the shredder? No.
So I was just having a look at the services there. Danny Donkey's around, and he's a known troublemaker at this point.
I've encountered Danny Donkey myself. We had quite an argument about a pizza knife.
A pizza knife, I see.
Vehicle theft in progress. Davis Avenue.
Let's get it.
Bring the noise!
That's quite far away, I think, but we'll make it.
You ready, crime? We're coming! Out of the way, lady!
I am not 100% on the best route to take, as I said. I'm not. Shit.
Whoa,
I'm not
easy.
familiar with this part.
That's
of
not
city.
the best route. I don't know. I don't really drive much, so I don't know.
Right, I think I've got this figured out. Do you want to take the lead on this? I'm sure I have a lot to learn here.
Oh, sure. Alright, let's look for clues. Anyone around here?
Fighting Frame's thirsty work, sir.
It is. Anyone around? You see anyone? Oh, did you hear that? Oh, it's just a trolley.
Oh, yeah, got a bit worked up. Is this the vehicle in question?
I
or-
think so, yes. So it seems like someone attempted and then gave up halfway through.
I'm gonna run it through the system.
Son of a bitch, I hate crime.
Well, this vehicle's owned by a Rohit West, and it's fully MOT, which is good, but I'm not getting much more info than that.
What was the name? Rupert West?
Rohit.
Rohit West, never heard of him.
No.
Don't think we have anything on file, so...
No, it's not a name I'm familiar with.
Oh, hang on. Did I just hear something? No, I guess I didn't. Well, there's no signs of anyone anywhere.
I wonder if I maybe took the wrong route and didn't get here in time.
Well, I'm guessing they was unsuccessful in stealing this car and they just didn't know what to do and ran off pretty quickly anyway. So don't be too hard on yourself there, Denton.
I just don't like letting crime win.
Crime never wins in the end. We may not get there straight away, but we'll get there eventually. I've got a pretty cool shot of us right now. In my head. Gosh. That's good stuff. Now, I'm not too good with this newfangled technology, but I'll see if I can take a little selfie. How do how do I flip the camera?
I think there's a button in the middle of the wheel you might be able to press. Your scroll wheel on your camera.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Could you turn around for me there, officer?
I turned around. I just had it with you if you want to turn around. Well, how do I actually take the picture? See, I'm an old guy. I don't know.
That button. I think you just press that button on the left to click the picture, and then it goes into your gallery.
I think I've done it. I have done it, actually. Ooh. Should we tweet it? Oh, I've lost you. Get back on the car. Get back on the car. Just because we got... It's magic hour.
Absolutely, the lighting's just right.
Yeah, there we go. Sent the tweet out. I'm a modern man. send out a warning to all the criminals, all the bums out there.
Absolutely.
All the no good beatniks and the no goods, the ne'er-do-wells.
Those punks.
Absolute punks. No good punks and bums, all of them.
I will say I was very I don't know if you heard, our fine mayor managed to strike a deal with the oil companies and gas is cheaper now.
Oh, excellent. I didn't think about that as being a problem for the police, but yeah, of course it would be.
Yeah, having to fill up while you're out on the patrol, it adds up.
Well, we can't be reimbursed.
No, I did wonder about that, but I was told no. Has to come out of your own pocket.
Oh, police cuts these days. Well, it's a beautiful night here in Los Santos. The quiet city. How's everyone doing?
What do you do for fun when you're not battling crime?
Well, I probably spend a lot of time sitting thinking about crime. How much I hate it. And crosswords.
Oh yeah. Got to keep the mind sharp.
Exactly. But I find a lot of the time, because I'm thinking about crime so much, I put crime in every single box.
So the crossword just reads like 7 across, crime.
Yeah, and if it's like, you know, got 9 letters in it, it just says crime.
Crime. This minivan is, oh.
Well, at
really,
least
really
they're
getting to me.
abiding by the traffic laws.
Oh, there's some of our, off to our left there, there's some of our fellow officers of the law.
Oh, we've got some of our friends here.
Friendly local PD. Keep fighting the good fight.
That's a lovely little station they've got here. Oh no, it's quite big. I looked small from where we were, but now I see it's pretty massive.
Set the freeway and open it up a bit.
Yeah, maybe we might be able to catch some people speeding or something. Now, I can't remember. Are we okay to use the Twitter feed to help us or not? I can't remember.
See, I think there was a discussion about that when I was getting my intake, my orientation, but I don't think there was a decision made. Have you seen something on there?
I just saw the word hostage. I just don't want to read the entire thing until I know what the deal is.
I think the last I heard, the last briefing I read on it, suggested that we can use it to like interact, but we're not allowed to use it exclusively as evidence.
I see. So we could use it to go and talk to someone, but we can't then use that to prosecute them.
We can almost use it as like an anonymous tip.
Yeah. Well, it just seems to be
I
a dispute
believe.
between 2 taxi drivers is all.
The taxi wars in this city are getting out of hand. I mean, you've already met Danny Donkey.
Yeah,
He's not the only
this
one.
other guy, Alex Grant, seems to be the problem. You encountered Alex Grant?
I think I met Alex Grant last night. There was a situation and he offered me a lift, but the squad came and picked me up again.
Yes, the police. Nature's taxi service.
I've never heard it put like that, but that's well said. If nature wanted crime to be the law of the land, then they wouldn't have invented us.
Exactly. Oh, watch it there, bud. Some of the drivers in this city, I can't believe them.
They leave it really late to react to like lane merges and things. It's insane. but at least they obey stop signs and lights.
I'm loving this. I think I might just want this music on every time I stream. It's when I'm looking at the camera, even though camera's not on. Just being like, I want this on
So I'm
every
actually
time
going
I
to pull
stream.
in and fill up the old tank.
Yeah, fit her up. Nice and good. But yeah, this music's great. It's great for just driving around. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
that's much more reasonably priced.
manage some of the thoughts in my head whilst we do this. So, for those, I think most people in here be it, but Fluffy, he may not be aware. I encountered, because I wasn't streaming it, I encountered Paul was Tuck's character, Danny DeDonkey, the other night. He's a taxi driver, and he's renowned for shitting and pissing himself, but also he carries around a pizza knife, and his justification is it's for pizza. So, we know he's a dodgy fella.
Bit dark, better put the full beams on.
Actually, shed a little light on the situation. And he's a taxi driver, and he seems to be in a war with some kind of other taxi driver based on Twitter. Now, there's all sorts of rules when it comes to this, much like with Red M, with New Cumbernauld. Like, you can't use information you know outside of the game within the game, that kind of thing. And that's why we were talking about the Twitter. It's an in-game Twitter, so that's where it's interesting. Because A, I think if it was like you chose who you followed instead of get everyone's tweet, that
I think
would
a big
work.
part of the job is going to be just sort of like learning the people and learning their vehicles and things like that, and getting used to what you need to keep an eye on roaming about the city.
Yeah, getting to know the local community.
Hang at the beach soon.
Yeah, I know.
I was proposing the idea of us also using bicycles so we could go out and just meet the people. Support the community. So we could be like community supporting officers of some kind.
Yeah, I understand that. Not everything has to be about, drama and crime. We can be friendly.
Well, it's
local.
always about crime. There are just different ways of fighting.
I understand.
But it's always about crime. You hear me? It's
At the end
always
of the day.
crime, Denton. It's always crime.
It's Deepmore, sir.
Deepmore, sorry.
That's okay. A few people have had an issue with my name, actually. It's not something I foresaw when I signed up.
Well, with all these new recruits after this big recruitment drive, we're all meeting new people.
That's
So
part
it's-
of it as
it's
well, yeah.
Trying to keep a track of everyone is quite difficult.
I think one of the more confusing... I met a recruit last night whose name was Lieutenant.
Oh, yeah, so he was my original partner on my first night on the beat. Me and
Seems
Lieutenant.
like a good
we
lad, but the name
induced
threw
together.
me.
A double induction.
Whoops.
So yeah, your Twitter,
Oh, yeah,
Shows you
I wish
everyone's
left that
tweets.
awfully late there, sir.
easy there. You might be getting him a ticket, but we're not the traffic department, so that's not within our remit, I guess.
Speaking of Danny Donkey, he got pulled over my first ever shift on the job, and has been given a warning for speeding.
Well, I feel like that's the least of our worries with Danny Donkey. Last time slash the first time I met him, he had a knife on him. Claimed it was for pizza.
A pizza knife, okay.
But we're in the middle of the street. But we were outside a place that serves pizza, so it was, it was a grey area. But then when I suggested the idea of me using my pizza taser, he seemed to take umbrage with that.
Your pizza taser, sorry, was that?
Yeah, it's like, this isn't a weapon, it's a pizza knife. And I said, well, this isn't a weapon either, this is my pizza taser. Oh! I was just
spoke
taking
to
a little
soon
ship there. What's going on?
There's a call if you could bring up the app and check the details. I'm not 100% sure.
How do I do that?
It's on your phone. It should be listed as the MDT application on your phone.
Alert. Civilian call. It just says civilian call.
Yeah, let's go find out.
He knows more than me. He's acting like I'm the veteran. He's done more than I do. I don't do anything.
There's been all sorts of trouble here.
Oh, this is where I was yesterday. Not yesterday, the night before. This is where I first met Danny. Well, let's go and solve some crime. This jazz music is too much. In the crime jazz playlist. Which is from the Untouchables, which is what I'm kind of doing here. The voice. Not intentionally. This sounds like James Bond to me. Hey. Think it's up these stairs here? Or is it behind the building? I'm going completely the wrong way. I'm just checking the perimeter. I'll be with you in a second. Ooh, run straight into a bollard.
This is 186 Demore. We have a civilian down. Is there any EMS available?
Oh no. I've just checked the perimeter. I couldn't see anything.
You know what? I don't believe what they say about you cops. You're lovely people.
I don't know where they are.
Oh, my name's Stella.
I'm having some trouble finding you. Where are they? Are they down here? Oh, there's a way around the back here. Silly me. No. I can't find them. I can't find them. Oh, it's so awkward. I can't find them. Inside? Where are they? I couldn't find you. I was so lost.
That's all right. The lady wasn't trying to get in touch with us. She was trying to get in touch with EMS. but
Okay,
there was
well,
no
there
one
should be
available.
suspicious activity.
Ah, okay, so the Hazlitt's hustle.
What happened to the lady? Was it a crime?
Oh, the
All right.
car
let's-
doesn't seem. The car
let's
doesn't
go.
seem to be working.
Oh no. Oh.
No, I'm gonna get out and maybe you can try driving. The car doesn't seem to want to start for me, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Oh, I can't actually get out. I think the door might be jammed.
You got your seatbelt on?
No, I've managed to take it off. It's not that. And
Oh, didn't mean to get in the back.
you don't happen to have a taser, do you?
I do.
So if worst comes to the worst, you can tase me out of the vehicle.
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, you're gonna have to hit me. Oh no, that hit the window.
Oh,
Oh wait,
they
there
seem
we
to do
go.
the job. Just gave it a juice bit of the old electricity, I guess.
Why don't you try
That
driving?
means it was great timing, wasn't it? Peter Gunn theme. Now I can't seem to get in. Do you want to come try this side? Can't get in this side either. And now it's locked.
I'm not really sure what we do here. We can't leave the car unattended.
Well, can you open the other side? See what happens when you do that now? Oh, you're in.
Right, let's
There we
do
go.
it.
Just needed a bit
Crane
of
can't
tough
break
love.
the car
is
for
all.
long. Someone must have come down while I was dealing with that lady, and I don't know, Jimmy the door or something.
Much to crime holds no bars in who it attacks.
The only bars crime's going to be getting is the bars we were going to put it
That's
behind.
right. Yeah. You're learning, kid. You're learning. Even though you've got more experience than me, you're learning.
What is it we're responding to here?
It was just suspicious activity, so it's probably all long gone by now, but worth having a snoop around, I reckon. Hey, you, ma'am, you see anything?
I've locked the car.
It's definitely a suspicious area, I'll give you that much. If you're going to do any suspicious activity, this kind of suspicious area is the kind of place you do it.
I'll tell you what, I'll check the room.
Hitting the roof. Crime doesn't have a fear of heights.
while we're away from people, do you have your radio switched on?
I do, yes.
What channel are you using?
Well, there are voices in my head, remember? But they've already seen it when I've used it. 107?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were on the same channel.
Yeah, I heard you when you asked for the EM hash.
Ah, okay, that's great.
It's crime jazzes. So criminal and jazzy. Ooh, you hear that?
I think the issue with the car might have made us take too long.
Wow, this is really kicking off between Alex and Danny Donkey.
Yeah. I wonder if we can. I don't know. Is it our place to try and, you know, like harbor negotiations between them?
It's no crime to be angry with each other. It's perfectly natural, in fact. You angry? You punch in the air. Is that how much you hate? What's that you smell in the air? Is it crime? Is that why you're trying to hit it?
I just get so frustrated.
Enjoy the view. Racia! You do a slide over the car. Oh. We could slide over the car. There you go. That's cool.
Whoa, you've got.
See, that's cool. I'm gonna do it again. Yeah! Sliding into Crimes DM
Take that
to tell him to
crazy shit.
stop.
Remember to buckle up, sir.
I'm buckled up. Don't you worry.
There seems to be a grocery store down here that I'm gonna hit just to stock up on food and drink.
Good thinking. I'm nice and stocked up.
I was, but yesterday's shift went on for quite a while.
Oye, ¿qué haces, cabrón?
Which shop is it?
Sewell Convenience? Some souvenirs, maybe? I'm just curious about something over here. I'll be back in a second. I was hoping I could go on this roller coaster, but I don't think I can. Or maybe I can. Maybe not. No, I can't. Whoa. I'm not sure if vending machines are working yet. Doesn't look like it. Sorry, I had some very important business to take care of.
That's okay, everything alright?
Yep. I want you to see if I can get on the roller coaster, and you can't.
Oh, I see.
Important business. You gotta, you know, work-life balance and all that.
Like, that would give you a bird's eye view of the surrounding area.
Yeah, see if any crime's around from up high. You know what the biggest thrill of all is? Stopping crime.
What is the holdup here?
Yeah, moving. Probably head into the old film studio over there.
So if you had to list your top 3 least favourite kinds of crime,
Oh, that's a very hard decision to make. Number 1 with a bullet. Shooting people
Yeah, it's me.
okay,
with
that
bullets.
makes sense.
So number 1 with a bullet, shooting people. Number 2. It's hard to do this with keep it light at the same time. Number 2. Arson.
Of course.
Number 3. When you're doing both of the top 2 at the same time.
Oh, heinous.
Outrageous. But still somehow not as bad as 1 and 2 individually in my rankings.
Almost makes me want to pull over and be sick, sir.
Ugh. And that would not be a crime at all. We got Pericomo playing? No, not
I can't help
Pericomo.
but wonder if it's a crime for things like, you know, public urination.
Oh yeah.
Which
Well,
we do seem to have an issue with people pissing and shitting.
specifically Danny the Donkey.
Danny Donkey,
He's
yeah,
constantly
and
pissing himself.
but you see, the adverts he puts out make it sound like the opposite would be true.
Yeah, he's very much in denial, even though we can all see it and smell it.
He's got a great PR department.
P standing for pish, and R standing for
Crime.
crime. Here we go. The financial district, I think.
White collar crime here.
Oh, yeah. No matter the color, I hate it. Be it blue collar, white collar. It's all crime to me.
That's good to know that when it comes
Yeah.
to crime, you're colorblind.
I'm color. That's great work, Sergeant. Recruit. That's great work, recruit.
Hey, thank you.
But yeah, the fat cats, the big businessmen, they're the biggest criminals of all.
I think
The bankers.
the agency and the FIB have their headquarters here. That's the dream. One day
So-
work for the FIB.
Is that what you're aiming for?
I mean, I don't really know like where this will take me because it's been a very different job from what I expected when I signed up. You know,
How has it not met these expectations?
it's just been a little bit more. I think it's just like the city itself. It's a bit more heavy than I might have imagined because having never done anything like this before. You know, I think I'm used to seeing the city from a different perspective.
Yeah, you weren't expecting as much action as there was.
Yeah, and it seems to just come like you'll go hours at a time just wandering about on patrol like we are, and then I should be turning here shit, and then all of a sudden there's waves and waves of crime washing up on the shore.
Yeah, from the sea of crime. So this city is not what it used to be. It used to be, well, like I say, we used to call it the quiet city. But it's not so quiet these days. It's loud with crime. That's why I joined the force. I wanted to make it quiet again.
And loud crime is once amongst the most disrespectful.
Don't want
because
any
you're-
noise complaints. Oh,
You're impacting
tenfold
other
in this
people.
city.
This compact over to the right here, I'm not sure he's having a great time.
A lot of people driving around the pavements today.
That shop didn't. Oh, this guy should have a helmet on his bike, but that's okay.
Oh, well, I lost my hat. Where'd my hat go? When did I lose that?
Oh no, so you did. Do you want to hit a clothes store to get another one? There's one just down there.
I'm okay, don't you worry.
So that store we hit on the pier doesn't actually sell food. It sells jerry cans and scuba gear. So
Oh, that's a shame.
I'm gonna have to find somewhere to stock up.
I've got a sandwich I can give you.
That's all right. I'll need to stock up on maybe a few days worth of stuff just in case the patrols run long.
Yeah, that's what I did earlier.
I appreciate that though. It's not an emergency just yet. Sorry, I was fiddling with the GPS there. I'm in the wrong lane.
I'm liking this song. Oh dear.
I like to turn off the engine if we're sitting for a while because
Yeah,
you know,
save that petrol.
yeah, the fuel economy in these cruisers is disastrous.
Yeah, well, cost of living crisis. We gotta do everything we can.
What's that?
Talk about crime.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier on about the white collar ones. They do it and they get subsidiaries and bonuses from City Hall.
Maybe one day we'll be able to take them down too. One day.
Trick Daisy for mayor.
Oh, I wouldn't want that power. Like you're aiming for the FIB, I just want to become detective. Clean up these streets.
Think of the change you could make from the top down though at an institutional level.
But I'm the kind of guy, I'm with shoe leather on the ground. I want to be out there. I want to be doing it with my own bare hands.
Nose face first and the detritus of crime.
Exactly. When I sweep up the city, I want it to be me that puts it in the dustpan of crime. The jail. That's the dustpan of crime. The jail is what I'm talking about there. I want to be the one that locks it up and turns that key.
Of course. I'm gonna hop in and get some stuff. Do you want anything while I'm in the store?
I'm okay, thank you very much. How is everyone doing? Are we all having fun? Is this a nice thing to watch? It's hard to do RP and stream at the same time in terms of interacting with you all. So I hope we're all well. I've also dressed up. So when I'm not in that uniform and when I eventually do get detected, I will be dressed like this. Maybe not a glittery hat. But the hat, which is returned all of a sudden, I guess when you're in a car, you're baking a cake! Cora, is it just a leisure cake? Or have you got some kind of cake-based event, i.e. a birthday? A wedding? Is it for the Queen's funeral? Just a leisure cake. What kind of cake we talking here? What kind of cake we talking? Yeah, you got your funeral cake. I was trying to think of is there a cake that's called like a crown cake or royal cake?
You okay there, Daisy?
Sorry, I was just addressing the voices in my head.
Of course, take your time.
One of them was talking
know.
about cake, so I got very distracted.
Cake sounds good. I could go a cake right now,
Coffee.
actually.
Coffee and pecan cake, yeah.
I'm a fan of the classics, a simple cheesecake guy myself.
Now, you consider cheesecake a cake, even though it's got the word cake in it, but I wouldn't say it's a cake.
Do you think it's not a cake because of the biscuit layer?
Yeah. And the fact there's nothing cakey about it. Well, it's round, I guess.
What would you define as cakey?
Yeah, some kind of flour batter mixture.
Just not sure what else. Would you classify the cheesecake as a pie then?
I don't know that's the thing. I haven't thought through it too much. But it doesn't sound like it should be a... If you go, like, if someone said, I've got some cake for you, I'd be like, oh, amazing. And then they give me cheesecake, I'd be like, this isn't cake. Like, would you have a cheesecake for your birthday? Well, I guess if you really like cheesecake, you probably would.
I mean, I have in the past, yeah.
How did the candles work?
There weren't candles in the cake itself.
Is it a
actually.
birthday cake then if there's no candles in it?
There was candles, they just weren't like stuck into the cheese.
Not into the cake, just surrounding the cake.
Yeah, there was something of a display.
Like it almost became like a cake shrine, cheesecake shrine, surrounded by candles.
I mean, if I'm creating a shrine to anything, it's probably going to be cheese and biscuit.
That's the thing. Should not just biscuit. If you just smear some like icing on a biscuit, does that make it a cheesecake?
It's a really good question.
It's one of life's big questions.
That's just one of life's great mysteries.
So yeah, but why is it called a cake? Because it isn't cakey. Like cakey is a word, right? We use when you get caked in something. There's some kind of
Yeah.
meaning to the word cake.
Cakey as in possessing cake-like properties.
But I would say cheesecake, other than in name, doesn't have any cake-like properties. Other than being sweet and round.
Yeah, maybe it does just come from the presentation. Maybe cake is, in this instance, used to describe a form of
Ruining
presentation.
My face. So it's presented as a cake.
Yeah, just like a criminal presents themselves as a civilian, but they're not. It's
not,
different,
exactly.
but it's classed as the same thing.
So you're saying cheesecake
not
is the
like-
criminal of cakes?
The crime boss of the patisserie world.
I always knew it. I always knew it.
Like, my god, how deep does this corruption run?
I once, Trick Lacey, once went to a festival, and for some reason took a cheesecake with me, and it got really hot, so it became a sweaty cheesecake.
Oh, there's nothing worse than a sweaty
You
cheesecake.
don't want a sweaty cheesecake. The only thing that makes it worse than being the crime boss of cakes is that it's sweaty.
It's sweating because it knows that you're coming for it.
Exactly, it knows. Sweating because it's under the pressure of Trick Lacey coming to take him down. Oh, do you want me to pay for this one?
Yeah, if you could. I apparently haven't lifted any cash recently, so...
Oh, I've just done some button. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. I did something weird. Okay, I've got a jerry can. Now what do I do?
So I think if you just stand next to the pump and press the buttons that appear on the pump itself, it'll start the filling process. I've never had to pick up a jerry can.
Oh, just press the buttons.
Do you have a jerry can?
Yes.
Hang on a second.
Can't even see where the petrol thing is on the car.
I mean, I think it's the button. Look, I'm standing here.
Oh,
and
here
it's
we
telling
go.
me
It's come up now. It wasn't. It was just on that side. It wasn't there.
There we go. Fantastic. Are you familiar with Jaffa cakes then?
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Where do you stand, cake or biscuit?
Well, it's a cake. When I eat a digestive biscuit, I'm like, this is a biscuit. This is what biscuit is. When you eat a Jaffa cake, it's a sponge. Sponge is cake. I don't know how much I filled this. There didn't seem to be a kind of you're near full kind of thing. So tell me if it needs any more.
Yeah, it hasn't really gone up.
Okay, it's expensive then.
Not as expensive as it was yesterday. Oh man, there was practically no point in having a job.
I have a thing where sometimes my little thing doesn't come up. If you know what I mean?
I think that happens to men of a certain
yeah.
age.
Maybe I can't do it because you're in there. Maybe.
That's a good point. I'll get out.
Ah, there we go.
So sometimes what it'll do is it'll stop you from doing it, but you can just do it again to make sure it fills up all the way.
It says tank is full. Oh, maybe it depends who's driving it.
Oh, maybe it does actually. Because my tank's definitely not full.
Yeah, it says full. Oh, am I gonna have to drive?
I think maybe, unless I can find a way to get more cash in hand, because I'm not sure how that system works.
Oh, I can give you the jerry can.
I thought everything was contactless in this city.
I can give you the jerry can. Right?
I don't know how to use the jerry can to fill the car, I'm afraid.
You're not. What's the point of it?
I don't really know.
Excellent. I don't know how much money I spent on that. Well, I guess I'll drive then. This could be a problem. It's not my specialty, let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, oh, you found your hat?
I did. It just seemed. I take it off when I'm in the car, I've discovered.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, maybe I can't drive.
Right now?
Nope.
Is it maybe because it's my vehicle?
Yeah, I
maybe
think
don't have
that might be
keys?
the case. Well, I could give you money.
Do you know how? Do we know how that works?
I believe I do. You know what your ID is?
I can certainly find it.
This is fun admin for everyone, isn't it?
So I've copied down my account number.
So it should just be like a 2-digit number, or something like that.
What two? What does yours say? Just so I know what I'm looking for.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, the mayor's here.
I mean, from what I can see, it might be.
HJP1, hello. We've got a jerry
US08.
can, but apparently we can't use that to fill up a car. Is that?
But then there's a whole bunch of letters and numbers after that, so I don't know for sure. I tell you what, we could always just drive back and replace it to get a different car.
I was just trying to see if there's a way I can look up your ID myself. Oh, a voice in my head is telling me you can use a jerry can.
Oh. Does the voice know how?
Does the voice know how? Is the question.
I tell you what, if you drop the jerry can, I'll pick it up and then I'll see if I can figure it out. Or if you can just give it straight to me, I don't know.
Okay. There it is. Now, apparently you just have it in your hand. So you've got to put it in one of your 1 to 5 slots. Ba ba dum bum ba. So you have to be carrying it, and then you can go and do it, I think. Is that right? Voice in head? Ooh, he's in some kind of trance. Is this the toughest mystery to crack so far? Okay, he's got it. Let's see if he can do it. Oh, are you talking? Because I can't hear you now.
No, sorry, I was concentrating. It's saying not enough cash. I think maybe.
Not enough
I think
cash.
maybe because I'm too close to the pump. I'm gonna move away from the pump.
Hey, wait up! It's a tough life on the force. Having to pay for our own petrol. I know you're working, Miss Mayor.
I'm not
Does
sure
that work?
There isn't a cash transaction going on here, Car.
Can't watch cash.
There's no need to bring paper and coins into this experience.
Vehicle theft in progress.
Well, we're gonna have to ignore that. Let's go.
Hit the noise!
Can you bring up the app and mark that just so I know where?
I'm
Oh,
on
I
it.
think I can see it actually. I hope all the voices in your head really like this noise.
What do you reckon? Alright, here it is. This is the same place as before.
Yeah, isn't it? I don't see any. Oh wait, hang on a minute. I see someone.
Stop! Oh, well, well, well. Is that my friend, Little Alf again? Little Ralph, I've met him before.
Do you know
Yeah,
this
I'm
guy?
a good guy.
He's just the hot dog guy. Sells real dogs for hot dogs.
They weren't real dogs.
Well, we've had an alert about a car theft going on here. What's your story?
Oh, I just I've been having a bit of a bad time. I lost my phone. I came down to buy a phone. Just picked myself up a new phone. Was just having a walk down here.
Did you
having a
also
look
try and
around.
pick up a new car that you didn't buy, huh?
No, I wouldn't do anything like that. I'm not a man of crimes. I'm a good guy.
Oh, you just said crimes. That makes
Yeah,
me
he
think
did say- he
he's
did-
gonna
he
be
did say
doing
the C
crimes.
word.
You know what I hate?
Officer,
You know what I
how
hate,
Officer
Ralph?
Daisy feels like a crime.
Crimes.
You've set it up now.
I just ate a Twix. That's all I've been doing.
What's a Twix? What
Let me
were you
ask you
eating
this
between?
question.
He's eating between something. What were you eating between?
I ate both fingers of the Twix.
You ate both your fingers.
No, Daisy, a Twix is a confectionery. It's a snack bar.
Oh.
Yeah, they've got two fingers. You have the left-hand side, it's got a biscuit base with caramel and chocolate. And then
Well.
the right-hand side is caramel topping a biscuit with chocolate around it.
Yeah, this story checks out, Daisy.
Does well. I think this guy's got two fingers. Two fingers that was trying to steal a car.
Two fingers in
Whoa,
the pie
whoa,
of
whoa,
crime.
whoa, whoa,
Two
whoa,
fingers
whoa,
in
whoa.
the pie of crime. As the old saying goes.
I would never do any crimes. I'm a good guy.
I mean, we've had interactions before where I've had some suspected drug use from you. You're such a twitchy character.
Oh, is that right?
That was the mean people who run the cat cafe who just were trying to plant things on me to try and make me get in trouble with the law. I'm just a simple hot dog salesman.
Why have you cut two boob holes in your jumper?
Why haven't you cut two boob holes in your jumper?
Because I'm a law-abiding cop, that's why.
Are boob holes against the law?
No.
We're
Right.
asking the questions here.
Exactly.
Well, I was just
Not
making
yet.
sure I wasn't breaking the law.
Well,
didn't see
were you
anything
breaking
about
the
a
law when you
stolen
tried to
car?
steal that car?
I didn't know anything about. I didn't see anything happening here. I was just buying a simple phone. I've had a long time without a phone. I just wanted to have a phone again.
You know where you get a free phone call?
Jail.
Yeah.
I
you tell him, Daisy.
wouldn't know anything about that, sir. I'm a very good law-abiding citizen.
Well, here's the thing. We've had a report of an attempted car theft. And you're the only person we see around here. Because we got here pretty quickly.
I saw there was some other people walking over there.
Can you be more
Yes.
specific?
Not much more than where I'm pointing, sir.
Over there?
Over there.
The entire city?
Over there.
There were two men. They were wearing white vests, and one of them said that he hated
hang
the
on a minute.
police.
Donkey's just pulled up.
Well, the plot thickens.
Yeah, where crime goes, donkeys sure to follow. Or drop them off as the circumstances allow.
Well,
I mean, maybe
Ralph.
you should go question Donkey.
this is the second time. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I apologize.
So, officer.
I don't know.
Whoa.
What's weird is that I didn't even flex any of my muscles to do that. It just naturally seems to it just did it by itself.
Let's just de-escalate the situation.
I'll go up against the wall, sir. I
Yeah,
don't
thank
know
you.
what
Thank you for
what you
that.
did that for.
All I was going to say is, this is the second time I've met with you. I'm just saying this is strike 2. You know what happens at strike 3?
What happened,
Partner just
sir?
asked you a question.
You're out of there. Meaning, we'll fine you. You recording this, sir?
Just for my own protection.
Well, we can't prove that you were stealing any cars at stands, so you're lucky this time. But as I say, next time, you won't be so lucky.
If it helps you feel better.
Would you like a selfie with us? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you could come over my left shoulder, that would be great, sir.
Oh, buy me dinner first.
You have something to say? You have something to say there?
You look like you were getting ready to strike there.
I'll make you aware. I am armed with a state-of-the-art suppression device. Okay.
I got my pizza taser.
Yeah.
Can you see me? Have you got my good side?
I've got it, sirs. I'm just gonna pop this on social medias, let people know.
Let people know that we're cleaning up these streets. And we ain't gonna take... Well, no, we are gonna take prisoners. I was gonna say we ain't gonna take no prisoners, but we are gonna take prisoners.
All the way to jail.
Straight to jail. Let's get rid of this.
What's your name again, sir?
It's Ralph, sir.
It's Little Ralph.
Little Ralph. Is that your
But
legal name?
My name's Ralph Huggins. People call me Little Ralph.
Ralph Huggins.
Why do they call you Little?
This thing from school, sir. I don't want to go into it.
I'm afraid I'm an officer of the law. You're gonna have to get into it.
I have a very small penis, sir.
All right, move along, Little Ralph.
Got one more question for you,
Oh,
Little
right,
Ralph.
one more question? Okay.
Mr. Huggins.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that a cheesecake is a cake or a biscuit?
Oh, good question.
It's just a simple
I d-
judgment test. There's no right or wrong answer.
I don't believe it's a biscuit, sir, but I'm not sure that it should be classed as a cake either.
I think that's a reasonable, well thought
It's
out
his own
answer.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I would class it as separate. Much
Hey.
like I would say a hot dog is not a sandwich.
Little Ralph, you see that sign behind you there for something that says Pisswasser? I have a friend who would probably really like that. Do you know anyone who might really like that?
I don't, sir.
That's like that.
Oh, I do. My friend Adam. He would love that piss water.
It sounds like a man who knows would he like hot or cold.
I don't know. But either way, he's going to be swimming in it. I know that much.
That sounds like a very nice guy, sir.
Well, I wouldn't say that much. I look so much like Daniel Craig.
well.
What is the deal here?
Am I free to go now, officers?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
well, let's not see you again.
we better not be seeing you at the scene of any future crimes.
If we get any more alerts of a stolen car and you're there, we're taking you down, son. You understand?
All the way down.
All the way down.
thank you, sir.
Downtown with the boys.
I'm gonna go to a
And
clothing
girls.
shop and see if they can stitch up my boob holes. Thank you.
Ooh, that's going to hurt. Now, where was Danny D. Donkey?
He's over here chatting shit on Twitter.
Quick question. Look at me over here. Do you know the actor Daniel Craig?
Yeah, who was in the Bond films.
That's
yeah.
right. Do you think I look like him?
Vaguely, actually, yeah, I can see that.
It wasn't something I wasn't, you know, I don't make myself look like this on purpose, and I just realized I look like Daniel Craig.
That's the face you're born with. You can only play with the cards
Exactly.
you're dealt.
But there's,
In a
there's something
completely
about
legal
it.
Pokemon.
Not the same hair though, just the face.
Shall we go and have a conversation with Mr. Donkey?
Oh, is he still here?
Yeah, he's loitering at this point, I think.
You know, in some parts of America, that's a crime. Genuinely is. Oh, he didn't have this silly hat yesterday.
Yeah, he's upgraded. Hello, Mr. Donkey.
Mr. Donkey. Pleasure to see you again. Whoa there! Whoa, would you please?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That was a mistake. I'm sorry, I slipped. I was on my phone. I got frightened.
Let's just de-escalate the situation there, Mr. Donkey.
You knocked my hat off, you son of a bitch.
I know, and I apologise. I'm never knocking another man's hat off.
Oh, you're a little bit... One moment, you're a little bit quiet.
Am I any better now?
That's better, there
Yeah,
we go.
thank you. You need to speak clearly when you're speaking to the officers of the law.
I've got one headphone in playing jazz, and I think that might have been the problem.
I don't need to do shit.
Sorry, what was that?
What's your tone, say?
I don't need to do shit.
I've got my pizza trudging here.
Oh, we'll have a pizza back now.
The word on the street is that you
You
do
got
a
a
lot
pizza
of shit.
bat? Wouldn't you want the whole thing?
I do no shit.
Pissing shit all over your stinking car.
Yeah, you
I
stink.
don't piss and shit anywhere.
You stink,
put a
donkey.
piss
You
and
stink
shit
real
on-
bad.
One of you put a piss and shit on my taxi. Filled my
Don't know
taxi with piss and shit.
Don't know anything
I only
about
got
that.
paid $200 for it.
Yeah, that was the agreed upon rate. Which would be what I would say if I knew anything about that interaction.
Well, maybe you should know. Maybe you should know what's going on in your city. Listen, I have a fare in there.
You got someone in there?
Look at
Yeah, I have
that.
a fare in there.
What's happened to your back window?
A ferret?
You've got a ferret in
I
there.
have. I don't know. No, I think
Maybe that's why your car's covered in shit.
Someone been smashing your windows.
No, I think you're just.
Thank
seeing
you,
that.
Fluffy.
There's no smash windows.
There's also no customer.
No,
Yeah, there's
there's
no
a
one in
customer.
there.
There's a customer. I guarantee you, there's a customer in
There's
there.
no one in
Lie to
there.
the officers, would you?
Why would they be lying about a fucking customer?
That's a good point. Why would you be lying about that when we can clearly see there's no one in there?
Well, maybe that's just
One
in your
more thing.
eyes.
One
Maybe
more
in
thing.
your
Oh,
eyes
it's
you
okay.
can't see.
Hey,
them.
did you hear that?
No, what is it? What have you said? What have you heard?
I thought I just heard some window smashing.
Yeah, go deal with actual criminals rather than a working man.
How is business?
It's great. I told you I have a fare in there. The meter's still running.
There's no one there.
There's someone there. Right,
So
maybe
do-
you can't see, but there's someone there.
Just curiously, then, just a general question with
The
taxi
hair
business
doesn't look
practice.
like Daniel
So, if
Craig.
you brought a fare to an empty, with no one around parking lot,
You're around.
and you leave, we weren't, we were over there, and you run up the
that-
meter
to
so
me,
that
that
you can
counts as
charge
being
them more.
around.
So you run up the meter so you can charge them more.
I mean, that's for them to complain about.
That seems dishonest, sir.
They pay by the mile.
Have you got a license?
Do I have a? What do you think? Do I have a license?
A taxi
Dude,
license?
We're just
Yes, I
asking
have
you
a
answer
taxi
questions.
license.
Okay, can we see it, please?
Is that it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can. No, that's your civilian license.
Yeah.
must say
you
you're
don't
looking-
just want your
you're looking
driving license.
Oh,
Whoa
fuck.
there! I will
Sorry
use
again,
force
sorry
if needs
again.
be.
Hold on, I'm trying
This
to
is
get
your-
my license out.
Last warning, Mr. Donkey. Class C driver license. We can see that. We can't see your taxi license.
Ooh, what's that?
Are you littering, sir?
That.
How are you making that float like that?
Just give me a minute, right?
You look
I
like a
step
magician.
back.
Sir, you some kind of magician.
I would have loved you like no one else could ever love you.
What the fuck was that?
I'll just show you. Oh, fuck.
Oh, you okay?
You trying to get in at our ankles?
Something ain't going right.
Yo, you can say that again.
Oh, you've got some bad scoliosis there, sir.
Give me a minute. There, am I better?
There you go, standing up straight and proud.
All I can show you is my ID card, but I'm a taxi fucking driver.
I've got to say, you're looking good for a man of almost 80.
It had to end
Yeah,
so
what can I
soon.
say? I do exercises every morning. 1, 2, there we go, doing it
Oh, look
again.
at he's planking. He's planking. And then he's
There we go.
raising
Hold it
himself up so slowly.
That's that Michael Jackson lean move.
What are you accusing me of? You accusing me of some sort of ID theft?
Accuse you of you having funky fresh dancing, sir.
Yeah, I think that's an accusation that you're. Hello, Smooth Criminal. There we go.
Whoa. He's got the moves.
You've got the boost.
Yeah.
Have you always been a taxi driver, or were you some kind of professional dancer in your past life?
No, I was born into a taxi, yeah.
You were born in a taxi.
Now that's making me uneasy.
What's making you uneasy?
A helicopter makes you uneasy. Are you afraid of flying?
Oh yeah, I'm afraid of flying. I'm afraid of someone, a fucking big brother.
What's your big brother gonna do? How
What's
old
your
is he?
big brother's name?
He's got to be like over. He's over 80 if he's your big brother.
I was.
Is he Derek Donkey?
Derek Donkey? No, I don't have a brother.
I thought
I may
you
have a
was
brother. I
twin.
was adopted.
These stories are
adopted.
getting all mixed up.
So you're 80 and you're driving a taxi. When would you last get your eyes tested? I see you're wearing eyeglasses there.
Please stand still while we're speaking with you.
Yeah, it's disrespectful. With a law.
Well, you just said I look good for my age, so this is how I look good for my age. I always need to be moving. I don't know where these glasses came from. I don't remember buying them.
Well, you're 80 years old. You're probably gonna need them.
No, I have laser eyes.
You've got laser eyes.
You have laser eyes.
You're pretty
I got the
dangerous,
laser eyes
donkey.
and surgery.
Pizza
I can't
laser
wait
eyes.
to arrest you, Smooth Criminal. Right, well, you just fly
I'm getting a
straight
phone call.
and keep your dirt nose out of dirt.
Hello?
He's just really rude. That's all.
Oh, it's my fucking business. I'm not allowed to pick up my own phone.
You could have let us know.
Hello?
He's still dancing.
Yeah,
Like, I don't like it.
whereabouts? Hold on,
That's
the police are just pulling me over. Whereabouts is that?
We haven't
weren't
pulled you over.
sir.
You're parked
You're
here,
pulled
sir.
over. You're parked.
Oh, okay, I'm pretty close to that right now. Hold on.
He's already got a fare, though, apparently. Can't pick you up.
Carpooling, saving fuel economy.
Okay, that checks
Oh,
out.
sorry. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be there in a minute. Goodbye.
Right. On your way then, go collect your...
Yeah. Fly straight, keep clean. I don't want to see you getting up to
Aim
any
for the
funny
moon.
business.
You hear of any crime, you let us know immediately.
I won't be doing that. Goodbye. How do I stop?
You won't
You
be letting
can't
me know.
stop. That's you forever now.
That might be real.
Oh, I was doing a cool walk away, and then I walked into this lamppost.
Got my eyes on you, mate.
I can't stop.
Can't or won't.
Can't stop.
He's addicted to the shindig. Did you just tase? Did you just tase him? Did you just give him a taser?
Help, sorry. Take care.
Use your pizza taser.
Yeah, I had to use a pizza taser on him.
Crimes like buses. There ain't any for a while, then two show up. And by crime, I mean
Like
criminals.
buses in this city are covered in piss and shit.
Oh, he smelled so bad. The stench of crime is what it is. The foul stench of crime. Oh dear, here we go. Oh!
Oh, not sure that was...
Don't tell the captain about that. You in? There we go. Oh, it's gonna be cold in here. Smooth Criminal will be an honor to arrest.
Fresh air, keep us awake through the long shifts.
That's right, it's been like 2 days now. It's a very long shift. we've been
Yeah,
on.
we don't get paid enough for this.
Having to buy our own petrol and everything.
I'm tempted to head back to the station and swap cars because I can't afford any more petrol and this one's running low. Plus this one doesn't have a window anymore, so it's getting a bit chilly.
Character's gonna be called Jack Carr. I mean, Jack's a strong first name. The cake is baked, McCoy Prince.
Trying to get better
big
at navigating the city just based on like remembering where things are rather than constantly check my GPS, you know?
Yeah, I need to have a good look at the map and see. I don't even know how big. Is this as big as the city gets, or anything like that?
Well, there's the outskirts up to the north.
You're saying, can you go to
Polito-
the desert?
Yeah, the desert and Polito Bay and all that area. Those are available for sure.
You gotta really tickle those bollards. There you go. Give the bollards a good old tickle.
All units, this is 169 going on duty.
Copy that, 169. I believe 169 might be Lieutenant.
Ah, Lieutenant. I don't know my number. Oh, I forgot to put my seatbelt on as well.
Oh, just as well we were safe. There's us. Here he comes, actually. Speak of the devil.
Is that you, Lou?
Hey, Lieutenant.
Good evening.
Oh, Lou, you got some pretty sweet shades you didn't have the other day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like your
got these,
vest as
so
well. That must
the,
keep you safe.
The Crims can't read my body language as effectively. These are.
Because, yeah, a lot of your body language is identified in your midriff. That's what I know about you, Lou.
I don't know what. Okay, yeah.
You speak in your torso.
Right.
How is this crime jazz?
Mm-hmm.
This is not crime jazz.
So how's it going?
Yeah, it's been fairly quiet. There was we had to speak to, what was the gentleman's name regarding the robbery? The
Little
car theft?
Ralph.
Little Ralph.
We encountered him
Higgins or some such.
our first night on the beat, me and Lou together. Jack
Very
Carr.
good. No
It's a great
arrest.
name.
No, we didn't have anything to
Nothing
you know,
to pin him
verify
down on.
that it was him that was trying to steal the cars, but he was the only person in the area, so we let him off with a warning to, you know, keep his nose straight.
That sounds fair.
If we find him in that situation again, he's going down.
Understood.
I also had to briefly tase Danny Donkey, but he did request it.
He just wouldn't stop dancing. He couldn't stop dancing. Something overtook him.
I had to help him fix out his muscle spasms with the shock of electricity.
What I think it was, he was just trying to shake all the shit and piss off his legs.
That sounds like the most plausible theory. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go out on a solo patrol here. See, I'm on the radio if you need me.
Do you know anything about the chopper that's been going around?
No, I do not. I don't suppose anyone left the doors unlocked and.
Oh god, I hope not.
Oh, my phone's calling.
Oh,
Hello?
Hello, I'm just outside the cat cafe and I've just seen two taxi drivers starting fighting each other. One of them hit the other taxi driver's car with a baseball bat.
Okay, thank you so much, little Ralph. I don't know how you got my personal number, but thank you.
It was in the phone book.
Excellent. The cat cafe. You know where that is? I'm not talking
Yeah,
to you.
it's
I'm talking to my
it's
partner.
the cat cafe.
Okay.
Cat Cafe? I know where the Cat Cafe is.
All right.
yeah.
We've got reports of some violence erupting between our two taxi driving friends. Thank you very much, Ralph. We'll be there
an
very
ambulance
shortly.
has just driven into a tree. I
The
don't know
ambulance
what's
has
going
drove
on.
into a tree. We need to get there. All right. I don't know how to hang this up.
Neither do I.
Oh
you press
dear.
that little red button there in the on the phone there.
I don't have it. Oh, it's gone.
If you use your Alt muscle, I believe you can.
I've got it.
move
I'm
your
sorted.
finger to it. Yep.
Right. Cat cafe. You coming, Lou?
I'll be right behind you. Yep.
He says, one taxi driver hit the other with a baseball bat. I don't know who hit who. Well, let's get there quick and find out what's going on. An
Now, if my
ambulance is on
memory
the
serves-
scene, but it's hit the tree, apparently.
If my memory serves, Donkey just told us that he had a pizza bat.
That's true. Oh, we've got him. We've got him.
We've got him dead to rights. Let's go.
Let's take this donkey down.
Let's take this donkey to the stable of justice.
Yash! Yash! The hee-haw is about to hear the Nino. Whoa, Lou!
Lieutenant!
I haven't got my seatbelt on.
Sorry-
That's a
sorry
good
about
reminder. Oh, we're sort of jammed
Hope
here.
you're
Oh,
wearing your seatbelts.
Yeah, we were, but that's okay. Fucking hell.
I've been learning aggressive driving and pit maneuvers. You see, I'm very
Oh,
good
yeah.
at it.
Yeah, clearly.
I didn't have my seatbelt on, but don't worry. I'll be fine.
What seems to be the problem here?
All right. Little Ralph.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I met
Seamus.
a taxi driver called Danny. He
Mr.
offered
Donkey,
me
we're
a lift,
familiar.
and yeah, he brought me to the cat cafe, and then he saw this gentleman's taxi and suddenly jumped out, pulled out a baseball bat, and started hitting it into this gentleman's taxi.
Il went mal.
What's
You
your
want
name,
to
sir?
Je suis Bobby McGuck.
Let me see
Bobby.
if I can get a hold of Donkey.
Oui.
Pleasure to meet you, Bobby. What's
Can I,
what's your account of the events that took place?
I was at the Cat Cafe. I just posted a new advert for my business saying, if you want a taxi with discretion, phone Bobby. If you want a taxi with pee pee poo poo, phone the man in the big hat.
And have you encountered this Danny Donkey before?
Only on the media social, he say he has the taxi with no pee pee poo poo, and I have no taxis that smell. You can come and smell my taxi. Smell my
It'd
taxi.
be an honor. Let me smell it. Let me smell your taxi.
I'm gonna decline that offer, sir.
Smells of garlic.
Oui.
Fresh bread.
Yeah, that is because I have a cheese sandwich in the glove compartment.
This taxi smells good.
I might have tricked him into coming back to the scene of the crime.
Oh, good thinking.
He came up to me and he said, "Look at you, you stinky taxi. It is a shame about your broken window." And I was like, "I do not have a broken window." And then he got a big stick, and now I have broken windows.
Can I ask you, Sir Bobby, did he at any point describe it as a pizza bat?
No, he said, "I did not mean to get that out of my pocket, but a big long stick."
What's going on? Who's beeping?
I'm here for a fare.
Sir, could you
I
please
can't get
step
the
out
car,
of the
sorry.
vehicle?
I'm
You're
waiting for
not
a
even
fare.
worthy of a brunette, let alone a
Will be
fair.
removed from the vehicle if you don't step
Could you please step out of the vehicle,
Yeah.
Mr. Donkey?
What's with it? What's with it?
Sir,
What's
we have
happening here?
an eyewitness placing
Alright, you in
you
the back, just remain calm.
smashing
there,
up this taxi over here with a baseball
Smash
bat.
on what taxi? That taxi?
Yeah, it's a smashed up one over here.
I have
with a
no
bat
idea.
that you can use.
You know
from
what,
just
Danny?
moments
You're
ago that you
dirty.
had.
I know it. You're dirty.
I don't have a bat.
You were bragging to us, nay, 5 minutes ago, about having a pizza bat.
I said a Pizza Hut.
No, sir.
I said a Pizza Hut. I mean, search me. I don't
Sir.
have a bat.
Hey.
You know, I'm in the middle of a fair here. I'm losing money here. Who
You're
is this?
technically
Is this a
gaining
rival?
money, right?
Is it a rival? Is it a no? It's per mile. Is this a rival taxi person trying to slander me? Because this has happened before.
The other gentleman's going to be.
But we've
losing
had an
money because you
eyewitness
smashed
not
in his
involved with the taxi game. Put
Who's
the
the
finger on
eyewitness?
you.
I have an eyewitness right here. I've been picking this person up 3 hours ago.
Okay, well, let's see. Hey, you in here, can you tell us what you saw?
Hey man, what's with the bad energy?
Sir, are you on some kind of substance?
No, I'm on a chair.
He's
Hey,
being
don't play
wise. He's a
wise.
wise guy, eh? A wise guy. Could you
No,
step
fucking-
out of the vehicle, please?
Yeah, sure. No worries, officer.
Are you shaking all that piss and shit off your leg again?
With
I have not pissed or shit myself.
Well, it looks like it. That's the movements of someone who's just shit themselves. Now, sir, what's your name?
I'm Hugh, officer. Hugh.
Sorry, you're a little bit quiet there. What was that?
I'm Hugh.
You're sure? About what?
Hugh. My name's Hugh.
Oh, Hugh.
Hey, why did you not
Who?
just answer my tweet? I just
You.
Who?
I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Hugh.
Why are you talking to
Me?
me?
Je suis Bobby.
Hugh.
Me.
I don't know who the fuck Bobby is.
Hugh.
Me.
Bobby.
Hugh.
Officer, do you mind if I step away?
Sir, can you tell me if you have seen your taxi driver get up into any kind of
Okay, sir.
violent activity?
Bobby and Donkey, could you guys join me over here, please?
Oh no.
Who the fuck is Bobby?
How long have you been in this taxi?
Hard to say, man. Hard to say. I don't keep time.
You're going to be doing time if you don't start giving us some straightforward answers.
Sir, are you?
Time in the slammer, you see?
Who is this?
Time in the slammer.
That's right, the joint,
I did not
the big
slam
house.
any mo- I was picking up.
I
Listen.
don't think I've done anything
Listen,
wrong.
how the fuck?
Yeah,
that's
where
why
you're-
I fucking
I don't know.
without a bat and way
I've
on
got some
already on
suspicions
a
about
bed.
drug use. I don't know about you, Lou.
Was your eyewitness this guy here? I saw you punching.
Yeah, you don't
Punching
seem.
him again. You're making him.
You don't
you're
seem
forcing him to
very.
say stuff.
Seem a little off, sir.
You're just staring
Oh.
into the
So
distance.
who's the eyewitness then?
Have you had anything to drink or smoke?
A rival
Today,
taxi
sir?
guy.
Hard to say.
Any
like
of the
I
jazz
said, I don't-
cigarettes? Or you've been hitting the
taxi,
hooch?
Obviously, you're a rival taxi person.
Jazz
I did not
cigarettes.
smash up a
I
fucking
didn't know they
taxi.
played music. Did it get
Oh
You know,
yeah, they
cigarettes
play all
that
right.
are
They
not-
play all sorts of crazy music in your head.
I don't know who you are.
Like
You know,
at the
cigarettes
Lindy
that
Hop.
aren't made of tobacco. They're made of other things. You know those cigarettes?
He's in a taxi right now. He came
I
from a
had
taxi.
a bottle of water once. that
I'm not
played
walking
Neil
away. I'm fucking
Simone.
pointing.
I've never had a jazz cigarette.
Well, we just
All
want a
right.
straightforward
Is it
answer.
illegal to shout?
How
Is
long
it
have you
legal
been in this
false
taxi?
accusations? Arrest him.
Oh, wow.
Could you stand
Or
in a
where did this
taxi
Honestly,
collect
that-
you?
That police just said.
They
I'm getting
picked
blamed.
me up from my
No, no. I already got
apartment
introduced.
building
Don't try.
And
on,
did you take any
South Vauxhall
detours?
Drive.
And where's he taking
I
you?
don't
Have a fair.
To be honest, I'm
Why-
quite
why
new
am
to
I-
the
why am I
city,
getting-
so
am I
I
under
don't
arrest?
know
Am I
the
free to go?
most efficient routes.
Well,
but
am I under arrest or
took
I'm not?
me from the
It's a-
tower,
it's a no,
we kind of went down
potentially
near
it's
the
a yes or no.
beach, and then I believe one of you gentlemen
Obviously
called
not.
him.
I have work to
And
do. Do you have work to do?
I said, I'm happy
You
to
have
ride
work to do.
you, so
I
here
mean,
we
your work
are.
seems to be pointing at a
Okay, so you
fucking
haven't
taser
stopped
at
here
me.
before.
Aye, 'cause you don't have any real work to do.
Alright, that's what we needed. Thank you for your help, sir. I'm
You can,
reckoning
get
this
back in the
took
car
place
and,
before he
wait.
picked up this charge.
Yes, you
I
can-
don't
you
believe
get
there's
back
a
in the
law
car and
against
wait,
being
sir,
on
till the
social
taxi
media,
driver
sir.
gives you short
This is an active
unless
crime
you get
scene. I
drunk.
think you'll find there is a
I don't
law
know who
against
you
it.
are.
No, sir. No.
Hey,
Thank
little
you.
Ralph.
Stemming from an active
You
crime
know you're
Yeah,
on film finish already. Let's not push
No.
things. You hear?
I'm just making sure for my own protection, sir.
Little Ralph, do you have any
It
connection
could
with
be that it's locked.
Bobby
We'll just
over
have to
here?
wait
Have you met him
outside.
before?
I'll unlock it.
I never met Bobby until I saw his windscreen get smashed in, sir.
And what were you doing here?
I was just coming to the cat cafe because I'm very stressed and I wanted to relax.
Oh, no.
That's alright. Let him sit in
What
the
are we
front.
gonna do there?
Let him sit in the front. You can turn the radio.
To stroke some cats, sir.
You're an animal.
I love.
You're a filthy
everyone-
animal, you hear me?
Everyone knows Ralph loves the pussy, sir.
Oh, it's a shame you're called Little Ralph then, isn't it?
Oh, little Ralph is what my friends call me, sir. I'm not sure if we're friends yet.
Look at the car. I mean, it's incredible.
And you didn't take any photographs or anything of when this crime took place?
No, sir. At the time, I was being quite disgusted by the gentleman's car. It smelled of pee and poo.
Smells so bad. It smells so awful.
traffic incident or bad driving. Those look
It
like,
does smell very
someone
bad, sir.
smashed them, perhaps with a metal bat.
Okay, well, thank you, Little Ralph.
Would you consent to a search of your person?
Fuck it. Alright, sure. If I can go do my fair.
Okay, sir. Just stand still for me.
Well, I
That's his
reckon he's going to
demeanor.
have chucked this back because he was very keen to say, hey, why don't you search me? So I'm suspicious
He
of
did,
that,
drive,
too.
he did drive away as well. He hasn't been on the scene the entire time.
Oh, so getting searched is not good enough now? Fucking hell.
You do appear to be in possession of crypto sticks, which are illegal currently.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I get given
But
them
no-
off fails.
But
Oh,
no bat.
I
You
get
need to
given
turn
them
those
off
over.
fails.
Now
You're
I'm
gonna have
gonna
to turn
search
over
your
those
vehicle as well,
crypto
if you consent to
sticks,
that.
though.
Your trunk here.
You can search me. I do not have
Fuck's
crypto
sake.
sticks.
I don't know
I'm
how
a
you
taxi
do that.
driver. They're bad.
I don't even know what a crypto
You should
stick
unlock the
is.
vehicle, sir.
It is a thing that people they illegal.
What happened to good old-fashioned coins? You hear? Just give me some regular coins. Oh, we got a vehicle theft in progress.
Nothing in the trunk or the, well, without a weapon, I don't know what we have much to go on. What do you say, Tracy?
I think, yeah, we don't have a firm
Very
enough
tricked.
evidence, but you're on very thin ice. You hear me, Donny D. Donkey? Donkey?
For what? For what?
For several things. Mainly,
Listen,
you just gotta clean all this piss and shit out of your car.
There's no piss or shit. You might be smelling this one.
This isn't the first time there's been antagonism reported or commented or seen in public.
And the
between
fact
two
of the matter
different
is, you've bragged to us
taxi
about a
companies.
baseball bat.
I
Last
said
time
a
we saw
baseball
you...
hat. No, I said a pizza hat.
No, you didn't. You definitely said bat.
I said a pizza hat.
2 officers heard it.
We're
Did
gonna
you?
let you go.
Alright.
We're gonna let you go on with your
Oh,
fare
that's
today.
nice. That's nice. See, you let me do my job. How about you go do your job?
We are
Oh,
doing
we
our
will.
job, sir.
Don't you worry about that, Danny D. Donkey.
Can you eat a Pizza Hut?
We're gonna be
No,
sending
a
you to the
Pizza Hut is what
stable.
you will.
That wasn't my joke. I'm just using it now because you weren't there earlier.
I'd rather not get involved in this time, sir. I'm a man who avoids
Seymour,
violence.
you might wanna
Okay.
dash your.
Merci
Good day.
beaucoup. Merci, officer.
What was that, sorry, Tenant?
Ralph, next time you see something like this happening, please take a photo for us.
I'll
watch
try
where you're
next time,
driving,
sir.
Thank you very much.
You could,
Thank you.
dash your taser. It's a little aggressive,
Now, there's a stolen
posture there,
reports of a
back
stealing
on.
Oh, of course.
car
of course.
theft
Yes.
around the corner.
Yeah, we should check that out. They're probably long gone by now. You two check that out. I got to go back to the
See
station.
you, Lou.
Radio.
We're gonna nail that donkey at some point.
Yeah, he'll slip up eventually. I can't help but wonder if
I've
he
got 2
braved
missed
the guy
calls.
who was in the back. What the hell?
What's this place?
Someone trying to steal this chopper?
Well, that would be a huge crime.
That'd be crime with a capital H.
We had so much. They had so much time to run away. I think we're gonna have lost them straight away. But it's good to know that this is here and this is a potential target for future criminals.
Don't know if we maybe took too long responding to this one
Yeah, we
because of the
definitely
incident with
did.
Donkey.
But you have to think if people know there's a helicopter, they're gonna be back here.
Make sure we're buckled up.
Strapped in. Oh, we've lost all our windows.
Looks fine to me.
Everything all good over there?
Everyone okay?
Take that as a yes.
Yeah, sure. See, that's what we were saying earlier on. You could go ages with nothing at all happening, and then all of a sudden, everything explodes.
Kicks off, but we're yet to actually take anyone down today, which is a real shame. I just want to
Yeah,
get rid
I
of
thought
that
Donkey was
crime.
going to get it for sure. I'm going to have to ask Tennant how
Yes,
that went down,
definitely big
because I'm
shout
pretty
out,
sure
Big
Lou
Taff
said
Man.
that he had crypto sticks on him, which I don't think are legal.
Lowering the tone. Yeah, I've heard these aren't legal. We removed, but I believe Lou removed them from his person.
Okay, that's good. I wonder if he gets caught again with that in the future, if he'll suffer some kind of fine.
Yes, I think so. You know
That
what
seems to
isn't
be the bit-
fine? Crime.
Right. That seems to be the best way to dissuade these people, is to hit them in their wallet.
More powerful than any jail will ever be.
Have you managed to purchase a personal vehicle yet?
No, but I've not even thought about it.
That's understandable.
I've not been home since I started this job.
Is that Magnus?
That's Magnus, aye.
Hey there, Magnus. How's it going? Name's
Good,
Trick.
aye.
Trick Lacey.
Nice to meet you, pleasure. I'm actually just coming to the police station to speak to some police.
We're police. We're
that can speak to me.
We're the guys. We're the guys. We're the ones taking out the crime.
I'm wanting a gun.
Did we not go over this the other day? Sorry.
No.
No, that must have been someone else. My apologies.
So what's the script of the
What
gun?
would an EAMS need a gun for?
Well, there's some right fucking raj cunts in this place.
Well, we've noticed that.
Just need to be sure.
That's one way to put it.
You okay there? You have a bruise on your
Yeah,
left
so
thigh
I wanted to ask about that. You've got some kind of vehicle theft in progress.
No.
You okay here, Lou?
You better respond to that.
We'll respond to that.
Need to ask the EMT for some help here anyway.
Oh, I'm trying to.
Oh.
Alright, aye, what you after?
Don't know why I
Open
keep
the door
doing that.
first and then try to enter it. There you go.
Put calm, man.
Do you have any bandages on you?
Just let me have a look. 2 wee seconds.
I could use a
Let's go.
reviver then or some stuff.
Now, if little Ralph's here, we're gonna take him down. I'm telling you that right now.
Just we'll bring him back to the station if he's even close to this area. Him or a donkey. Like if these people just keep showing up, there's no smoke without fire.
Exactly.
And there's no crime without criminals.
Fool us once, shame on me. No. Fool us once, shame on you. Fool on twice, shame on us.
I got what you were saying.
But then fool us 3 times, shame's back on you again. It's just the same place. Someone wants this helicopter. Turn off the sirens. Turn off the sirens. Because they're gonna run.
Yeah, look, the windows of this vehicle are all smashed.
This is a definite attempt at theft. Little Ralph was in this area. Let's check this cat cafe, see if he's in there.
I tell you what, do you want to hop into the cafe? I'll do a lap around the block and see if I can see him.
Check the perimeter. Hello, Mordrefara. How are you? A long time no see. It's all locked up.
169 calling the other unit there. Are you on the scene of a crime yet, or?
Yeah, we've arrived at the scene of the crime. It's just outside the cat cafe, but there doesn't seem to be anyone here. There's a vehicle with broken windows, though.
Yeah, no sign of any suspects anywhere.
I copy that. This is Lieutenant 169 here. I'm gonna go on a lunch break, but I'll be here if you call me in an emergency. And then
There's
also,
a helicopter in the
wanted
sky.
to alert the officer there.
I see a helicopter in the sky. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a legitimate helicopter pilot.
Oh, sorry. Bit of a technical issue here. Officer Trick Dacey, you don't have a call sign set visible to us, I think. Or if it's Deetmore, one of you, both of you. You check your slash muscle there to set a call sign.
I don't know how to do it.
Roger that. I believe I've just set mine as 186. Is there any way for you to verify?
Yes, it shows up on the GPS as 186. Yep.
What do I put as my, what do I put in the old thing there?
You use your chat muscles to bring that up, and then say slash call sign and then a number. As recruits, our numbers are supposed to be
Trick Dacey
1
does
through
not
something.
appear to have a call sign, so if you could remedy that.
One.
please. Thank you.
Sorry,
Over.
what something?
We're sorting that just now. Yeah, so 1 and then 2 other numbers. The recruits have to be within the 100 range.
Gotcha.
So I've gone for 186. And
I'm 123.
Nice one. Nice 1, 2, 3.
I'm having trouble with my walkie. Oh, here we go. I'm having trouble with my walkie-talkie. I'm having trouble with my walkie-talkie. Can you hear me? I'm having some troubles with my walkie-talkie. Can you hear me? Hello?
And then another thing is one of you appears to have their radio key set to the Alt key, which can create some trouble when you're looking around.
Yes,
or,
I have that.
When you're losing focus to look at something else, if you know what I mean. You could
Roger
find
that.
to...
I think Officer Lacey's having an issue with it, but he's aware and amending the situation.
Thank you very much.
Keep finding.
I don't enjoy my lunch here with these bleeps.
Take care.
Okay, and then... Just trying to find where it is in my walkie-talkie settings.
I imagine it. I think it would be under the 5M settings for keybinds on your walkie-talkie. It's in there somewhere.
Not seeing it. Anyone in chat see it? Cell phone? Push to talk. No, it's not there.
Hang on, let me check mine real quick.
I'm looking. So basically, my. Hello. It's funny. I've made the effort of dressing up, but I'm not being on camera for a lot of the time. I was just trying to find.
Hi. So I've got mine appears as PMA voice talk over radio, and then in the settings of your walkie-talkie and key bindings, and then 5M.
So I've got QB, Kaband, binds, but nothing says anything about walkie-talkie.
So if you click into that menu that you're on there, and you should be able to scroll down, and there'll be a talk over radio option. I find it easiest to hit enter when you're when you're looking at the 5M button on your
Accidentally set something
walkie-talkie.
random. Oh, here we go. I'm scrolling now. Took me a while to scroll. My
Sorry.
walkie-talkie things.
So it'll be under.
I got it.
Top.
I got it.
There you go. Nice one.
Testing, testing. Can you hear me? This is Trick Daisy. 123. 123 is my number.
Roger that, Daisy.
Thank you. That's all. Over. Now I've lost track of that helicopter now.
Yeah, I'm annoyed that there was nobody. I swung around the back because there's lots of little nooks and crannies that someone could hide in here, but I couldn't see anyone.
What? Chat, what do we think? Camera on or camera off?
This cafe seems to attract more than its fair share of trouble, though.
I know. I guess crime loves cats. Camera on, camera off for the experience. I realise I've dressed up, but then I'm not on camera. On? Okay, keep camera on. But maybe a bit smaller. 1 second, I gotta blank out for a moment.
Yeah, take your time.
More in the corner. Whoop! I don't know why it wasn't in the corner in the first place. Ah, yeah. Trick Tracy. I can't get my name right. Trick Lacey. The thing of doing a thing of like swapping around Dick Tracy is you want to say Dick Tracy. Alright,
Hey,
I'm
what
back
was
with
this
you.
guy at?
Back in the room.
Okay. Was that those voices again?
Yeah, I just had to adjust a little, I've got a picture in my mind's eye of myself, and I just needed to just adjust it a little bit.
I understand.
At the request of the voices in my head. Ha, see? I was slipping into Al. This is a problem I have. I slip into my character from Red Dead.
We missed the green light there because this guy's just kind of
Hey,
sitting.
get a move on, you bum! I wonder how much of this VOD is going to be
Just try not to hold up traffic anymore, eh, buddy?
from this music. But it's so worth it. I love it. I think it's really added.
Oh wait, is that Chuck Edwards?
Hey, Chuck.
Oh, how's it going, Mr. Edwards? You have a good day, Mr. Edwards. Just make
Have a
sure we're
look
not
at the,
causing any obstructions, okay?
Leaving piles of bodies. Now I'm a man of the law. I can't really do that anymore. Look at
Oh,
the
sorry about that.
cover for this song.
Hugh, man.
That Hugh. There was something about him I couldn't quite put my finger on. Yeah, you think the music is old enough that it's fine, but it's because it's like film soundtracks. It's hard to know. Oh, forgot to put my seatbelt on.
Oh, we need to make sure that we drive safe. I can't tell if that guy was saying his name was Hugh Man or if he was saying his name was Hugh Man.
And yeah, he definitely seems one of those no good hippie types. Who use the word man at the end of all their sentences.
Yeah.
Smoking those jazz cigarettes. Playing a real symphony in his mind, see?
I think it's going to become a problem in the city as well. How was it you put it there? Jazz cigarettes.
It's playing a symphony of crime. You get jazz symphonies, right? Is that right?
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
Jazz band can sometimes sound like a symphony.
Swing bands of crime.
Evening, folks. I think they might just be locals. I wasn't sure.
Lovely couple. The Devil's Lettuce, the Wacky Tobacco, the Devil's Lettuce. Blank
The EMS are the hardest working fuckers in this city.
So, oh, I've got an incoming call. Hello?
This is Danny Donkey. All police are pigs. Oink, oink.
Hey, Little Ralph. Little Ralph is playing prank calls on me now. He's got somehow managed to get my number. Pretending to be
Okay.
Danny Donkey, but it was so very clearly.
Right. So
For
you
some
know for a
reason, he
fact
was
it
also
not
doing a
Ralph?
Russian accent when Danny Donkey is in no way Russian.
Okay, well, if we see him again, I think we might be able to fine him for that.
Oh, yes, let's do it.
As soon as we find out where he is. Next time he's available at the group site, at the scene of a crime.
Wait, no, leave my phone alone. Stop
Hey
it,
there.
stop it.
Little Ralph, I want to give you a reward for being such a good citizen earlier on.
This is criminal. I stolen
Hey.
little Ralph's phone.
Listen to me, Little Ralph. We got a gift for you. You hear
Oh?
me? Because you reported that crime earlier on. We want to reward you.
Wait,
Well, let's cover
let
that.
me pass the phone back to little Ralph. Hello, little Ralph here.
Hey, Little Ralph, we got a reward for you for reporting that crime earlier on. Will you meet us at the Cat Cafe?
The reward was justice.
Oh, so you don't want cash? Is that what you're saying? You don't want a cash reward?
This is 169.
How much cash are we talking?
I have some personal errands to run, but I'll be
$200.
back on the job a little later.
Take care, 169.
Can I just check? Is entrapment illegal?
What's entrapment?
Is it illegal?
Depends.
On what?
It's only entrapment if he's
Depends who's
broken
doing
laws.
it.
What if it was you doing it?
I promise you, this is not entrapment. Don't even
Yeah,
sound
you're-
like Sean Connery.
I'm
clearly James Stewart.
Did my phone number come up when someone rang you just now?
No, I got a phone call from Danny Donkey, but it was an anonymous number.
Ah, good. Yeah, that's okay. Wow, I'd love a reward.
Yeah, I'll meet you down the old cat cafe then.
Okay.
See you very shortly.
I'm quite short.
A little. Alright, let's see. I mean, he is suspicious. But let's see what happens.
How are you going to play this?
Well, we're going to say, as soon as you get there, we're going to fine your ass for making prank calls. That's all it is to it. This is an entrapment, right? I'm trying to remember what entrapment is.
I don't think this is
Entrapment would be like us making him commit a crime in front of us, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
if we
so this is an entrapment.
forced them to buy drugs or something.
Exactly.
Do you want me to sort of hide out of the way so he thinks it's just you?
No, because it's police business.
Okay.
The sting is on, everyone.
Oh, I think we'll take care of this and then I'll maybe go and take care of some errands.
Yeah, it's been a long old day.
Yeah, it's been
It's
some
been a
shift.
long old 4 or 5 days.
Been good getting to know you though.
It's been a pleasure to work with you, partner.
Hopefully not long before we get our promotions to officer.
Yeah, I don't know how that even all works. I guess they just do it on a whim.
I think it's the chief does it, but you would like to think it's based on like merit and like public standing and stuff, but no ideas. Maybe it's based on just like time in the job.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because as much as we put a decent amount of time in, we haven't actually made any arrests.
And I wonder if when I get to detective, I could just request that I don't get promoted anymore.
Did he say how long he would be getting here?
No, and it wouldn't surprise he might chicken out and not come. We just gotta hope.
Wait a minute.
You see something?
Yeah, that chopper up above us to the right is flying suspiciously.
Interesting. Do you wanna, if I stay here, do you wanna try and trace where it lands?
I think it's landing here. It might be him.
Oh my goodness me.
You think he left here and went and stole the chopper?
If anyone would do it. I hear him.
What's he got up there?
Whoops, I was trying to use my flashlight, not smash a window with it.
All units, we might have a lead on a stolen helicopter. Currently over the freeway next to the Cat Cafe and flying very erratically. It's not a cop one, but Lacey and I responded to a potential theft earlier on at the chopper depot. So more on this as it develops.
Now, if we can get this guy, this will be huge. Ah, little Ralph! Little Ralph. I'm fining you for making prank phone calls.
Sir, I don't even have a phone, sir.
Sir, let's not play these games, Big Taff. It's happening and you need... Sorry, Little Ralph?
Sorry, who?
Little Ralph.
I
was thinking of my friend there.
This seems like a case of mistaken identity,
Oh,
sir.
it's not.
You appear to...
You play too many games with me, son, and I shan't stand for it. Now, just gotta
Sir.
quickly look up in my manual how much I'm gonna fine you.
Sir, I don't even have a phone. I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Let's not play
Told
these
us-
games,
You
Ralph.
told us earlier on when we were looking at you for this.
You've
the
got a very
theft of that
identifiable
car.
voice.
It got stolen, sir.
Your voice?
Yeah, they used some AI technology and they stole my phone. I'm sure if
Get
you
up there,
check
a little
on
bit
me,
back
you
up
will
there.
find no phones. I have no phone.
Right, remember I said, whoa, what are you doing?
Come down.
Right, I'm gonna fine you $200. Remember I said a gift of $200? Well, that's for the city.
This seems very harsh, sir.
Well, that's what happens. You
I
make
mean-
prank phone calls to the police.
I mean, you said that it was an anonymous number.
Yeah, but it was very clearly you.
Sir, I've made no phone calls today.
Sir,
I don't even have a phone.
if you own up to it, I'll take $50 off.
I wish I had a phone so I could make prank. No, I
You're
wouldn't
lucky
make
it's
any
taking me a
prank
while to
phone
go
calls.
through my manual right here.
I mean, you stay looking for your manual, sir. But I think I'm gonna be in touch with my lawyers if this is what you're gonna go through with, sir. You have absolutely zero evidence here, and I'm feeling persecuted. I would like to speak to a superior.
Thank you
Whoa,
very
what
much.
the heck? You took all my money!
Did you only have $200?
No!
I don't know what's happening. Oh, sorry.
Whoa! Whoa! I'm.
We're gonna need an
brutality!
EMS here. We're gonna need an EMS.
Brutality! Someone call my lawyer!
Some mistakes have been made.
Where's Tenpenny? Get Tenpenny here.
I don't know how to use this. I don't know how to use this. Hey, it says there's only $20 in here. I was supposed to take $200.
I got like $1,000.
But there's not. It only shows 20 on here. Ostro, who's in this helicopter? What's going on with the helicopter?
Why are you not phoning an ambulance?
I have. I'm called on the radio.
I'm gonna sue you.
EMS, we're at the Cat Cafe. Can we get an ambulance to the Cat Cafe, please? A helicopter seems to have hit him on the head.
It was not a helicopter.
Pretty sure it was. Pretty sure it was a helicopter.
Sir, you look like an uncorrupt police officer.
I'm trying to get the chopper to land, but it just seems to be harassing us instead.
Do you see who's inside?
No, I didn't get a good look. Actually, the next time they hover down, I'll take a picture.
Say, get a photo with him. Now, I seem to have accidentally struck this man when I was flexing my
Wait.
wrong muscle and he's down.
Is this a press helicopter? I need you as a witness. My
Getting a bit
name's
hungry.
Little
1
Ralph.
second.
I'm in a lot of pain.
This sandwich is delicious.
This man is eating my food.
It's my food.
He's just knocked me down and he's eating my sandwiches.
I'll tell you what, I'm feeling more relaxed.
I'm not.
Don't know where this EMS
Please.
is.
Mr. Helicopter Person, I need you to be in touch with my lawyers as a witness.
I'm not having any response from the EMS.
I managed to get a picture.
Oh, excellent.
Chopper, good driver. Yeah, I think the EMS may all logged off for
Tenpenny.
the evening.
We'll hear about this.
What was that? Was that a threat?
Yeah, it was a threat about you being told by your superiors
What is
that
this
you've
music?
done a bad job.
Look, we can't help it if a chopper lands on your head, okay? We're trying to figure out who owns the chopper.
I wasn't the chopper.
I may have flexed the wrong muscle.
I hate you.
This music's horrible.
Corruption.
It's supposed to be. Oh, we've switched into the. We're not on that playlist now. It's switched into the radio.
That's a very serious allegation. Oh, there's that car from earlier.
Which car?
The one from the when we were stuck at traffic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my lawyers. I'll be in touch with them.
Now we've got a slight problem where there doesn't seem to be any EMSs available.
You may just have to go towards the light, my friend.
You'll
Right,
be going
one second.
towards the light. And the light, it'll be justice.
1 second there. Do you know what your ID is? Ralph, do you know your ID?
Not off the top of my head. And I can't look at it right now.
Are you sure?
Because I'm in so much pain.
Oh, because otherwise I'd give you the money to pay for your hospital fees.
You trying to pay me off?
Well, no, I feel bad because I accidentally hit you and I don't want you to lose your money.
So you admit that you hit me?
Well, if you're going to go down this route, there may be more hitting that happens.
With the pizza taser.
You with the pizza taser.
Oh, God. My ID feels like it would be 29. Oh, God. It's so much pain.
There you go, sir. Go towards the light now. Your money's been taken care of.
Tainted money.
Let this be a lesson to you about making prank calls, see? It's a crime, and I hate crime.
You committed a crime here today. The crime of assault.
Do you have any witnesses
Just
to
keep
back that
quiet,
statement
little
up?
Ralph. Sorry, what was that?
Just asking
I
our
do.
friend little Ralph here if he had any witnesses to back that statement up.
My good friend was in a helicopter. Why are you?
Who was
what are
in
you
the
doing?
helicopter?
Press ups? You're doing press ups next to me?
You gotta stay fit. You gotta stay fit when you're out on the beat.
Oh,
who
well,
was that driver? Hey, Ralph. Who's your friend's
Oh.
driving the thing there? Who is it?
Yeah, I'll say nothing.
Oh no.
You spitting on us? Oh, this last thing we need right now.
Can we help you, Donkey?
Careful, Danny. Danny, they punched me to the floor.
I didn't punch you. I hit you with a torch.
Oh,
Now,
he admits it. Danny, you heard that?
I've already admitted it. I said it was an accident. I flexed the wrong muscle. It wasn't intentional. I've slipped into someone else. Ha!
I'll have
See?
my-
There we go.
I'll
I'm back.
I'll have my revenge.
Oh.
Oh.
What happened there?
Oh, I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay. Not a lot we can do about that, sir.
I'm dead.
How am I meant to relax? What's wrong with
You,
this guy?
you gotta go to hospital, son.
Not any of your business, so I'm gonna have to ask you to move on.
He crashed on me.
You've got them.
What
I
did you
gave you
crash on
your
your car?
hospital
Careful.
fees. You can go to hospital.
Careful, Danny.
Allegedly.
They'll
Danny
hit you
attacked
too,
it.
Danny.
Really?
You
I
gave
think
me
Danny will do it.
200.
Oh, what's
it
that
cost me
noise?
500.
It's not good acid. You're admitting it.
I didn't admit it. I said allegedly.
You still there,
Well,
Ralph?
there's no grassing if there's
Oh,
no-
there he
Oh,
goes.
what the fuck?
What's the
That's
problem,
away.
Danny?
That's him away now.
He's in a better place.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, you being sarcastic?
Do you know who did it?
Aye, was that Bobby?
Any witnesses?
Apparently you don't need witnesses.
Well, we did have a witness before. That's the point. That's my point.
Can I leave?
Yeah, you're free to go.
Oh, thanks. I'm free to go.
If you swear at police officers, there'll be trouble. Yeah, we need something for... It's a bit difficult. We accidentally flex the wrong muscle and knock someone down. That's a bit
Yeah,
of an
there should
awkward
be
situation.
A system in place for that.
And somehow when I find him, I somehow took all his money, even though it said there was only $20. I tried to take 200.
Oh well. Now he knows crime doesn't pay. Remember your seatbelt.
Yes, on. Safety first.
Yep, absolutely. I think I'm going to head back to the station.
Yeah, same thing. Need to
Clock off for a bit.
Clock off for the evening.
It's been good getting to know the ropes with you there, though.
It's been
Lacey.
a pleasure to serve with you. Oh, the chopper. Oh, we just missed you. What do we do here?
Can we ask you to not follow the chopper so close to the road, please? Thank you. I'll get rid of the vehicle.
Who's in the chopper?
I think it's the same person. I've taken some pictures, so I'll ask around, see if anyone knows them. Because there's no way that's one of the locals.
No chance.
Just give it a little love tap. There we go. This shouldn't have been left unlocked.
Yeah, we should. Whoa!
Oh my
It really shouldn't have
Jesus.
been. It really shouldn't have been.
Oh no, we're in the maze again.
This music was perfect for this. Does that mean there's now just a police car in the middle of the station? Oh, do yourself a favor. Don't go outside. Don't go outside. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. That's locked. The captain's gonna go mad when he sees a police car in the middle of the office. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, gang. This playlist, the radio playlist got weird, didn't it? Film noir and jazz crime.
Stinky's arrived.
Ah, thank you so much for the follow, Mr. Hutch the Clutch. Very much appreciated. Mr. Hutch the Clutch, you're a streamer. Let's get right. Give Mr. Hutch the Clutch a shout out, please. Ah, smooth. I can't be on this evening. Great. It was so fun, Mr. Hutch. An absolute pleasure to spend the afternoon with you. That was great. Perfect. And yeah, well done for just handling my character. I guess if I just log off, it'll be fine. I don't know what this room is, but I don't feel like it should be open. I'm thank you. Oh, there's a crime happening. Oh, someone's on it. Okay, that's locked. I'm just going to log it off there. I'll just hope for the best. But yeah, excellent. Thank you. Oh, Mr. Hutch. I can't wait to... I like the idea of it building up and us being partners and stuff. So, have lovely food. And yeah. If you're going to be streaming it, I'd love to catch it. So everyone, give Mr. Hutch the Clutch a follow. I'm going to do that as soon as I've exited this game. Which I'm always a bit like, ooh, where do I do that? Game. That's where I do that. Exit game. You've been a great mod. Well done, Fluffy Pigpond. You're one of the greats already. One of the greats already. And there's one thing I probably should need to... Let's just stay black and white for now. But I'm very pleased with the aesthetic I've created. With the black and white and the jazz. I thought that worked really well. I might get DMCA'd. But I might be just a muted VOD. I don't know. So I hope people have made clips before it all gets ruined. But it's been great. Let's have a look who's on, shall we? To give the old Raider Rooney to. But that was so much fun. I love RP. And this seems to work a lot smoother, other than those things we've just seen. But on my laptop, seems to work a lot smoother than Red M does. So the problem I always had with doing the Red Dead stuff with Al was it would just crash all the time and stuff like that, whereas this seems to be fairly good apart from that what just happened with the car. That's the sentence, isn't it? So we're gonna go give a raid to a man who we've just performed police brutality on, and that is our friend Big Taff Man. But yeah, more of this to come, don't you worry. I can't tell you the whens, but there will be more of it in the future. I don't think people will be on a Thursday morning for my regular streaming time, but I'll try and get on at some point. But have a lovely Sunday. Enjoy your Dead Queen Day tomorrow. And have a nice.